Hi, welcome to Jovie's home. I make new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Today, we're going to be covering part 3 of the Buying a Home in the Netherlands series, and part 3 is all about buying a new build house or a Nieuwbouw. So if that sounds good to you, then why don't you come on in, kick off your shoes, and stay a while. I'm really glad you're here. Before we get into today's video, I want to thank you all for supporting my series and for watching it, giving it thumbs ups and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed already, please, I would really appreciate if you would consider subscribing. Click that red button, give this video a thumbs up, it helps me out a lot, and yeah, click that notification bell. Also, I wanted to mention that while I am making these videos, I am just an expat with no official background in mortgages or real estate in the Netherlands. I've just gone through this process a couple of times, and so I'm speaking from my experience and also from research. Links in the description box below for you to do your own research or continue it, but do turn on your Google Translate extension because that is very helpful when trying to read Dutch documents. Yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the video and talk about building a new house and the process of that in Holland, because it is crazy. Well, so maybe you've decided that you want to buy a new house, a new build house. You want to build it. That's really cool. That is such a neat way of making the home suited for your needs. But before you do that, maybe you should just listen, because it's not quite as simple and straightforward as I would have thought buying a new house is. There's a lot of work that's involved throughout the whole process, and I don't want to discourage you by any means because it's really cool, but I think that it's super important to know what you're getting into when you're gonna buy a new build house in the Netherlands. So the first thing that I want to cover is, how do you actually get a new build house, especially in this market where new builds are quite popular. They are energy efficient and they are, well, new. That's also very attractive to a lot of buyers. So the way that you actually end up getting a new build house is through a lottery system. So you would maybe identify a neighborhood or a project, as it's called, that is interesting for you, and you would submit your details into kind of the lottery pool. Now, they might have a few different types of models, like model A, B, C, and when you fill in your paperwork, you would say, okay, my preference would be, I like model C the best, and then followed by model A, and then model B is my last choice, but this is like my preference. And then there would be like a drawing, and the people who are selected first, they get first choice to put an option on the houses that that they were selected for. Keep in mind that winning the lottery or the auction you are not forced to actually buy the house. You are just the first person in line who may choose to buy this house. Dan, I'll be right back. Vinny's at the door. So let's say that you've won the lottery and you want to move forward with your house. Then you would be able to hold the option on that particular house that you won in the lottery. So you're gonna go ahead and keep that house like on option while you arrange your financing, or maybe you think it through. Do we really want to go ahead with this house, etc., etc. If you want to and you have the option, then you go ahead and arrange your financing and go to the notary and you buy your house. If you don't want to, you just go back to the agent or to the project managers of the building and saying, we've decided we don't want it, in which case the option will go to the next person in line from the lottery system. So that's kind of how you get the new build houses. A couple of things to mention, because it's a little bit different than buying an existing house on Funda, which you can also refer to video number 2 from this series, linked somewhere here. But basically this house, like the new build house or the Nieuwbouws, are really easy to buy without an agent. You don't need a buyer's agent for this kind of property because everything is just very clear and straightforward. There is no negotiating on the price. There is not really much that an agent will be able to help you with, because you're going to see the project, you're going to see it on paper, and then you're going to decide if you want it or not. But there is not really negotiating on the purchase price. Maybe maybe if the market is really slow and really low and the builders are like very motivated, maybe then you might be able to negotiate. But in a hot market like now, there's no way. One other thing that sets apart a new build house from the existing houses is that on a new house, you don't have to pay the transfer tax because there is no transfer. You are just getting the new house. So that is one cost less that you would have as opposed to buying an existing house from Funda. Usually in a project, there will be lots of different like styles of home or different types of homes, you know, different sizes. Maybe some have a garage, some don't. Maybe some are apartments that have 1 bedroom or 2 or whatever. You know what I mean? There are lots of different styles, but if there is a model, there will be just one model of one style. So when you are buying a new build house in Holland, and probably in lots of other places too, but certainly in Holland, you are buying it purely on paper. So you're gonna see what it looks like on a drawing. Maybe there's like a tiny little like Lego size model of the neighborhood or something, but there will not be a house that you can walk through to kind of see how it's actually going to look when it's finished. That can be tricky for a lot of people that don't have that kind of, you know, they're very visual. They need to see in order to understand what they're buying, but that's not really gonna be something that you can expect to have here. So if there is a model, it's gonna be a model of one type of house. Something that is really spectacular about buying a new build house is that it is fully customizable for your needs and desires and wants. So that is something that's really, really cool and an opportunity because you're buying a house before any groundwork has even been laid. Like before anything has been built, you are buying that house. So you can customize everything from the very beginning, from the foundation. So that's really cool, but keep in mind that all those decisions have to come from you. So there is a lot when it comes to customizing a house. So many decisions, I mean, tiny decisions that I couldn't have thought about before, like electrical sockets. You know, you really need to decide before you've ever seen the house where you want all the electrical sockets to be, but that can be tricky. The ability to customize your home into any configuration, any style, the number of bathrooms, the number of, you know, bedrooms, all of those things is customizable. It's really cool, but it can be a little bit tricky when you are doing it straight from a paper. Okay, moving like Jovie's home. One thing that surprised me a little bit once we went through the process of buying a new build house is that on the day that you get your keys, you still have a whole lot of work to do before your house is move-in ready or livable in. And because of that, we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but because of that, one thing that you should keep in mind is that the purchase price of the house is nowhere near the actual cost of the house. So when you are buying a new build house, you have the mortgage for the purchase price, but then you will certainly have the ability to borrow money for finishing your home, for finalizing it. And by that, I mean, when you get a new build house, the walls are not finished. There's no, like, we'll put in some pictures here so that you can see. I don't know how to really describe it, but basically the house is delivered with just concrete walls, and then you need to finish it to make it look like an interior of a building and not an exterior. The floors are not finished. You're just getting like a bare, poured concrete floor, and all of this needs to be finished before you can actually live in the house. And for that reason, you are able to get what's called a bow depot in your mortgage, which is a certain set of additional money that you are financing through your mortgage to put in the features of making your house livable. Through the bow depot, you are only going to be able to put structural things in. You're going to be able to use that money for structural changes and not things like furniture. So you will be able to use that money to put in your floors, to finish your walls, upgrades to the kitchen, the bathroom, things like this that will be permanent and stay in the home. You will be able to use that mortgage depot money, but you will not be able to use it to buy new furniture for the house, for example. In general, bathrooms and kitchens are subcontracted by the builder to companies that actually do bathrooms and or kitchens. So your purchase price of the house may include for example, a kitchen, but the kitchen that they've included in that purchase price is a value of, let's say, 5,000 euros. Then you will have a meeting after you've bought the home. You'll go and have a meeting at the project partner of the builder. You'll go there and you can create your kitchen how you want it. And anything that's above the 5,000 euros is gonna have to come out of your pocket afterwards. So the 5,000 is included in the purchase price of your home. Let's say you customize your kitchen to 7,000 euros, you're gonna end up having to pay the 2,000 out of pocket extra. And the same for bathrooms. So any upgrades that you make from what the project has envisioned, how they've, if you want different tiles or maybe different colors, or maybe, I don't know, you want a bathtub and a shower, or whatever it is, those kind of changes, yes, you can make them. Yes, they will cost you. Throughout the building process, you might also be offered some different options from the builder. So in our case, we could choose a wooden door frame if you wanted, as opposed to a metal one, or different colors of doors, the different styles of handles, door handles, lots and lots of different things. Our houses from the project that we purchased, I don't know, let's say they envisioned 20 electrical outlets, and then if you wanted more, those would each be at I don't know how much extra per outlet, but those were all upgrades that were also offered through the builder. One other option that you have if you want to maybe save a bit of money is that you can have what's called a casco delivery, and this means where they will deliver your house with just the underground pipes in place, but your kitchen will be unfinished and your bathrooms will be unfinished, and then you will have to hire separate contractors to come in and put in everything. But that is called a casco option, and maybe you can definitely find cheaper options other than the project partners. It can happen, but keep in mind, and this was the case in my case. So when we went to the kitchen and the bathroom store, we were a little bit shocked by the prices of certain things, but because they were the partner of our builder, and a lot of the houses that were being built at this time were using the same shop, they were able to offer installation prices that were unmatched by anyone else. So in the end, even though, the tub or whatever it was did cost more, the installation was so cheap that no other shop could compete in our case. Maybe you are more handy, or maybe you know how to do some of these installations, and if you're planning on doing some of the additional work yourself, then maybe it is something for you to consider to have like a casco delivery. But I'm just trying to present you here with some ideas and information about different options. So during the building process, it's actually pretty exciting. In general, you will have some opportunities to come and view your home, your future home. The builders will sometimes say like, okay, on this date from this and this time, everyone can come and have a look at the fact that the foundation has been poured. There's nothing but like a slab of concrete, but that's super exciting. It's really exciting to go and see after, waiting for so long to actually get to that point. But yes, during the building process, there will be opportunities for you to go and view the home as it's being built. And also this is a little bit exciting because you get to actually meet your neighbors, right? Because they will also be there at the same time to check out their house. So some of our neighbors started a WhatsApp group for those people who are in our phase, and we were all able to, talk and say, oh, we got a really great deal at this shop for this thing, and who else is thinking about, making a walk-in closet, or who else is doing this or whatever. And then we could purchase things as a group, which made things a lot cheaper for all of us. So if you are going to get a new build house, try to inquire if there is a WhatsApp group for the collective of you, and if there is, get in that group. And even if you're gonna say things in English like I did, people were really responsive and we were able to talk about things. So that's like a cool thing you can do. Also, during the building process, one thing that will be important for you is to discuss with your neighbors how you're going to be separating your gardens, because eventually once your house is delivered, there is no, the contractors, the builders, they don't separate the gardens. So you can have, you know, a wooden fence, or you can have like a living fence, like a hedge, or you know, a path of trees, or whatever, however you're going to want to separate. But then that is something you should consult with your neighbors, because basically you're going to share the cost of that, because it's not like you're both going to each put like 2 wooden fences or 2 rows of hedges. It's going to be one thing, and then, you know, you split the cost of that. So that is something to keep in mind as well, that there are certain things that you're going to have to discuss with your neighbors on how you want to achieve that and how you want it to look. So during the building process, one thing that is really important to keep in mind is, even though your house does not exist, even though they are just starting to build it, and you will not live in that house for at least another year, you start paying the mortgage on it, because there are deadlines and you have to pay, you know, for each kind of like phase of completion. So once the foundation is poured, you send a significant amount of money to the builder, like for payment. And then once the first floor is ready, and the second floor, etc., etc. So there are milestones at which you're paying to the builder for your house. And as a result, you will be paying your mortgage the whole time. So if you are buying a new build house, it is really important to know that you're going to be paying whatever rent or mortgage for where you live, plus an additional mortgage on the new house that is being built. That can be challenging for a lot of people, because it can go for a long time. You know, for a year or two, you're paying twice, double. But yeah, just keep that in mind. As I mentioned earlier, that once you get your keys, it's a very exciting moment. You get to go in and finally see your finished house. That's super exciting, but it's totally unfinished on the inside. There will be no walls, as I said, no floors, no lights, no garden. Depending on whether you chose Casco or not, you may or may not have kitchens or bathrooms. And likely you will not have a kitchen. So even if you've gone with the project partner, they will usually say, okay, well, we will install your kitchen after you've put in your floor. Makes sense, right? That way you don't have to cut a floor around a kitchen, and if you later change your kitchen, now you're stuck with this like odd shaped floor. But yeah, so your house is actually going to be pretty empty once you're getting the key and like officially having your house. So I would suggest that you plan minimum of 3 weeks, more likely 6 to 7 weeks, sometimes more, depending on how many contractors you have coming in, before the moment that you actually get the key and move in. So like in that time, you're still going to be living at your other place, probably packing and finishing the inside of your new house. I wanted to mention that there was a big difference between, for example, my Dutch neighbors and us in the way that we arranged the finishing of our homes. And as an expat, we found it easiest to find one company that would be responsible for subcontracting the work of all the things that we needed finished to other company or other companies. And this was because we had one point of contact, like one project manager, let's say, and we could discuss everything with them, and then they would cascade that information to other people. We, as you know, non-Dutch speaking couple, we found that easiest for us, because everything what we wanted was clear, because it was clearly discussed with somebody that was able to speak in English with us, and then they would cascade that information to people who maybe could not speak English. So you do have companies like that where you are able to have like a one-stop shop. Maybe that does come at a premium cost. I'm not sure. Everybody is so different, but you have that, or you have the option of subcontracting, you know, the walls to one company, the floors to another company, the curtains to another company, the lights to another company, etc., etc. And that is what a lot of my Dutch neighbors did. Looking back, I'm actually very glad that we did it the way that we did it, because our contractor was able to put in a schedule, like a timeline, that allowed us to move into our house 3 weeks after getting a key. So he knew who was coming when, and he just boom, 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 and everything was just getting done. And so maybe somebody would be putting up the walls upstairs, and the floors were being done downstairs by another company. that was managed by a professional. Whereas some of my neighbors that maybe were not professionals, or they were doing it in another way, they would have one contractor come in, that contractor would finish their job over a week or two, and then the next person would come in. So you have these options, these are choices as you like, but know that there is a lot of intricate work and detail involved in this whole process. It's cool and it's great at the end, but it is a lot of work to build a new house in Holland. So on the delivery day of your house, you will also be able to have a technical inspection where you go through with the builder and you hire a technical inspector just like you would for an existing house. And together you guys walk through and you see everything your house as it's going to be delivered. Small things that might be, maybe you notice something small, I don't know, a door squeaks or whatever it is, they can fix it on the same day or the next day of the delivery. Other things, maybe like a window is cracked or something that you see, they will make note of it and they will come back and fix that for you. Your technical inspector is also there for you on your side to check everything. Also, one other thing is that you will have like an official fixing day. I don't know how to call it, but basically they will give everybody an opportunity to finish their houses, move in and live there for a couple of months, and then you'll get an email from the builder saying like, okay, this is the date of the fixing day. Please send us an email with any issues that you've had since moving in. Now that you've lived there for a little while, maybe now you've noticed a few things, let us know, and then you just send them a list of everything that is broken or needs fixing, remediation, and they will come in on that day and they will fix everything pretty much on your list. And then also with new houses, you are getting warranties and you are getting a guarantee, and it's very nice for a certain number of years. So not everything has the same length of warranty, the same amount of time, but definitely, everything is at least 2 years, and that comes in handy. The other day, a super strong gust of wind, just like I opened the door to our garden to let our dog out, and the wind just caught the door and we were not able to close it later. We called the emergency number, and at 10 o'clock at night, they actually sent out somebody to come in and rehang our door, and that was free. So because our house is guaranteed and the workmanship and the doors and everything is guaranteed, who would have thought that the wind could knock a door off its hinge? I mean, it was pretty intense wind, but that's Holland. But yeah, these guarantees come in handy, and it's nice to have a number you can call, like, hey, emergency, I have this thing, please come. So yeah, let's wrap this all up. Buying a new build house, it is an amazing opportunity and an incredible experience to actually get to build the house that you want, dream, need, desire. But that comes at a cost of being time consuming, expensive, and a lot of headaches along the way, and your patience is tested because it's a long process. But at the end of the day, it's worth it for some, not worth it for others. You do have the option to buy an existing house and then renovate it and make it how you want it, or to, do it from the ground up. But whatever you do, I, wish you a lot of luck with your home purchase adventure. I hope that this series of videos has been helpful for you, and I really hope that you've enjoyed them. If you have, I hope that you'll give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I make videos about parenting, lifestyle, motherhood, and then I'll throw in some stuff for expats. If you are planning to move to the Netherlands and you don't see a topic covered in my playlist, please let me know and I will do my best to make a video to let you know how to do something. It would be my pleasure to do that for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for coming over. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.